You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right. Welcome in. I am Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast. Supposed to be doing the crossover thing today once again with Anilo from Denver, but that damn internet in Denver wasn't working. So he is in customer service hell and might pop in later. We'll see. If not, we'll roll through it. Dodgers with a nice shutout win to wrap up the series win. 4-0 the final today. It's win number 38 for the boys in blue, number 21 at Chavez Ravine. As for today's sponsor, show is brought to you by Supply House. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Thank you for joining us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done, and for listening on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. So we're off tomorrow. Good feeling to wrap up the series with a win before an off day, before a travel day all the way back east, heading to PNC to face the Pirates in Pittsburgh. I will do Tuesday's game. Then I'm off for about 10 days. Just talked with Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. He's going to fill in for me during my little trip. He's going to do the New York series against the Yankees in the Bronx and then the Texas series as well. So you'll have Dodger postcast coverage during my absence. Gavin Stone today looked very good. I wish they would have given him not a Cowboys hat, Seabat, and stop distracting me. Wish they'd have given Gavin Stone one more inning. He was looking good. I think they could have pushed him and tested him into the 6th inning. Didn't love pulling him in the 5th. Just for no other reason that he'd only thrown 75 pitches and he was locked in. So why not press him? Why not push him? Why not see what he's made of? Why not stress him a little bit? Why not give him a little bit more high leverage? He looked good. Yes, he did, Roy. I agree. But give him some more leverage to deal with to expand his level of experience. I feel like he is becoming one of the better guys in the Dodgers starting rotation. They pointed out early in this game that had it not been for a start in Chicago, his ERA would be considerably lower and he'd have one fewer losses and he would be in a much, much better position and look statistically wise more dominant than he has been. So it's all good for Gavin Stone. There's definitely no major issues, no problems. He's 6-2. He's got a sub-3 ERA after today's performance, 2.9 to be specific. And although they say 40% of his pitches are sinkers, he struck out 6 today, mostly on sliders. It was slider, change, 4-seam, then slider. So 4 of his 6 Ks came on a slider, which I guess technically could be considered the same as a sinker. I look at a sinker more closer to a curveball than I do a slider, but I guess that's what they would argue if I said, you said he throws 40% sinkers and he threw mostly sliders. They would say, well, that's what a sinker is, you numbskull. So staying true to form, but it did look good. It was sharp. It was devastating. And I think the one that I was probably most wowed by was the 4th strikeout that came on a changeup. That one was just wicked. So he looked very good. And I think that's a good spot for the Dodgers to be in. And I think another thing that was nice today for the Dodgers in this win was the way they dispatched Gomber rather quickly. He made it through 3 innings, giving up 3 runs on 5 hits and only struck out 2, surrendered 2 home runs in the 1st inning. Mookie Betts with a leadoff homer, his 52nd of his career and 9th on the season, 9th home run, not leadoff home run. I think it's his 2nd leadoff home run of the season for the Dodgers. And then Freddie Freeman right after Shohei went deep as well for number 7. So Gomber was kind of reeling right out of the box. And as you remember from yesterday, when talking with AP from Locked On Rockies postcast, who was supposed to be here today with us doing this postcast, he said that the Gomber, Austin Gomber, not the Gomber, maybe they call him that, who knows? Austin Gomber has been the best starter for the Rockies, and through the month of May has been one of the best in all of baseball, which is always surprising when a Rockies pitcher is the best at anything. But one of the best ERAs through the month of May for Gomber, he had a .68 ERA. So the fact that the Dodgers got rid of him pretty quickly was nice. But then from there wasn't much offense until the 8th inning. They scored 2 in the first, 1 in the third, which came on a Miggy Rojas single. It's nice to see that he's still hitting the ball. Bottom of the lineup continuing to produce. That single from Rojas scored Freddie Freeman, who had a nice day, got on with a walk there. So he's digging himself out of that slump, I would say. He definitely got on base, hitting home runs, hit yesterday. So I don't know what we need to see from him to say he's fully out of the slump. Is it like a hit every game for 10 games or something? I feel like maybe we're a little too hard on what we expect out of Freddie Freeman. We know one thing for sure. Freddie Freeman is too hard on what is expected. That's for sure. But, you know, he had a nice series in New York against the Mets. I guess really he had a bad game 1 against the Rockies in this series that the Dodgers lost. But at that point, I had not known about the tarmac incident. I had heard originally they sat on the tarmac for 12 hours, which seems impossible. But then today, Oro mentioned that it was 7 hours on the tarmac. Either way, when it's a private jet and it's more than half an hour, that's a lot of time to be sitting around. So they got home because that game to end the Mets series started at 4 Eastern. Probably went till about 8 Eastern. By the time they got out of there, 10 Eastern to the airport, midnight. And then you sit on the tarmac for 7 hours, probably till the next morning. They sat on the tarmac. So then they have a 5-hour flight. So then they get home, late afternoon. It really had to screw up. All right, there we go. We're back. Internet took a little crap for a second. Roy has something deep to say. Anytime you use the word contemplate, Roy, I have to think hard. Contemplate this analysis recommendation. Glasnow does not get run support because the lineup faces opposing team's ace. In playoffs, I would make Yamamoto the number 4 starter. An interesting theory. That does happen a lot. You're right. That is a very valid theory. And there's also this random theory that sometimes happens in Major League Baseball, which I'll tell you after the break. Super random. So I have to make sure it's concise and clear because I need to share this theory with you about pitchers and run support. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. And you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. All right, today's show brought to you by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online, which can at times be hard to find, I'm assuming. It's very easy to use. It's packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands. First time I read that, I was like 200,000 parts from 400,000 brands. I'm like, wait, that math doesn't work out. So it's just 400 brands, and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. I love that. Pros and skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free trade master program. Every trade master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Check them out. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast after a 4-0 win, taking 2 of 3 from the Rockies in LA before a day off and a trip east to Yins, Pittsburgh to face Yins Bucks, aka the Pirates. Here's my random theory about pitchers and run support. Sometimes pitchers on teams, for no specific logical reason, just don't get run support. It is very bizarre. It is completely unfair. And there's just literally no way to explain it. I thought you had a good theory, Roy, and it's not wrong. But a lot of times it's just super random. It seems like every year when I was at ESPN in the clubhouse with the Dodgers and the Angels, every day, every other day, whatever, there was always one guy in the rotation that did not get run support. And you could never really put your finger on one specific reason. It was always something different. And it was just that guy throughout the course of a season did not get run support. And it always would work out to his disadvantage, of course, because he'd go out there with a little bit more weight on his shoulders, a little bit more pressure, because his team would just not put up runs when he pitched. And you're like, damn, how much easier would this be if they would hit when that guy's on the mound? But it just doesn't always work out that way. It is unfortunate. But yeah, the theory about Glasnow facing the other team's top starter is valid, without a doubt. Dodgers tonight with the 4-0 win. They put up 8 hits in the win, surrendered 5. Mookie Betts the leadoff home run, which got him out of a bit of a slump. Ohtani is right there in that slump now. 0 for 3 again today. Struck out twice, did get 1 walk. Freddie Freeman, as I said, 1 hit, 3 walks, the hit being a home run, scored 2 runs, had 2 RBI. Teoscar 0 for 5, batting .255. Pages continues to hit 5 consecutive games on base, 1 hit today, 1 walk. And I guess he didn't score one. I thought he did. Miguel Rojas a hit. Kike Hernandez 0 for 4. Miguel Vargas a hit, and J-Hay with a hit. So let's get to a modified, janky, bumpy, uncomfortable version of the Diamond Dogs, because I did not write it down like I normally do, because when I do crossover, we don't do the Diamond Dogs because we have too much else to discuss, too many other things to talk about. So obviously for number 5 on the list, the leadoff home run, which could be number 1, the leadoff home run from Mookie Betts, 354-footer to get the Dodgers started right out of the gate. His 52nd leadoff home run of his career, which is remarkable, was a perfect way to start this game. And then after Shohei got out, Freddie Freeman went deep, 396 feet to make it 2-0 Dodgers. As for number 3 on the list, Miguel Rojas in the 3rd inning, singling in Freddie Freeman, moved Pages to 3rd, was a nice piece of hitting, and Miguel Rojas continuing to produce at the bottom of the lineup when he's not a regular starter is fantastic. I mean, I think he is outperforming his expectations substantially. And that's just really nice to see, because you don't expect much, just like with Austin Barnes, who's number 4 on the list, because he had 2 hits today. When Austin Barnes gets in there, backing up Will Smith, generally on Sundays, we don't really expect all that much. And at times people get on him because he doesn't do a whole lot. And you could tell he gets frustrated, because last Sunday, or last time he was in there, he went 0 for 3 or 4 and finally got a hit in the 9th inning and did the little move that the Dodgers do. You could hear him mouth or read his lips, and it was some sort of expletive, F or S or something. Just kind of like, damn, it's about time I got on base. So today looked good. He had a hit in the 6th to right and a hit in the 8th to left. So a nice performance from Austin Barnes for number 4. And number 5, J-Hay got on and scored in the 8th. So he was taking care of business. That was a pinch hit appearance for him. To answer your question here, Mr. Seabat, I believe it is 2 leadoff homers for Mookie Betts this season. He has 9 total for the Dodgers this year. So 2 of those 9, to the best of my knowledge, are in the leadoff position. Let me just double check the number. Yeah, 9. So 2 of those 9 leadoff homers from Mookie Betts. I mean, he's a fantastic hitter, and it's when he's going bad, struggling like he has been of late, it's rather surprising and kind of remarkable that he's just swinging at bad pitches. I think it's just part of the game. It's not like he's really doing anything wrong mechanically. He's too sound mechanically to really be that far off. But the fact is that it's just part of the game. The old EK line, which I think I'm going to lean on all year. This game is hard. It's hard, man. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Here's how you know it's hard. If you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. Shohei Ohtani still leading the league in batting average. Jurickson Profar hot on his heels. 1 point off. 326 for Shohei, 325 for Profar. Betts in third at 319. Contreras of Milwaukee, 316. And Juan Soto of the Yankees up to tied for 4, also with 316. Pitching leader Seth Lugo of the KC Royals atop the league in wins with 9. Suarez also has 9 from Philadelphia. The Braves, Chris Sale, he's in Atlanta. When did that happen? I missed that. Aaron Nola of the Phillies has 7, and Mitch Keller of Pittsburgh has 7. That's one of the reasons right there. The Philadelphia Phillies are tops in the league record-wise. Seth Lugo, Ranger Suarez and Aaron Nola. 16 wins already between the two of them. Wow. Another thing today that I was noticing and happy to see and really deserves mention and credit is Freddie Freeman's defense. Freddie Freeman at first base is really valuable to this team. Had a nice put out. I think it was yesterday where it was a bad throw. He jumped, caught the ball, and then swiped the tag. They had originally called him safe. They reviewed it and overturned it, calling him out. Those kinds of plays from Freddie Freeman at first base. He dug one out, stretching out to the right towards right field today, which was nice. Those things I think really are just taken for granted because he seems like a guy that you just expect to be more offensive than defensive. And I think, look, in this day and age with regards to baseball, the only time we start to really focus and stress and complain about someone's defense is when it's bad, really bad. Unfortunately, the Dodgers have the best defense in all of baseball. And the reason I know that is I looked it up yesterday. They are tops the league in fielding percentage. It's like 990 or something. Very, very rarely make an error. I looked it up because when the Rockies had that play yesterday on the broken bat single or fielder's choice from Gavin Lux, that turned into a run because the Rockies were throwing it all over the ballpark like a little league team, having 2 errors in one play. I was like, are the Rockies a bad defensive team? I looked it up. They're actually not. They're number 4 in the league. So they're a very good defensive team. So that was kind of surprising to see. It's also surprising to see the Dodgers make any sort of errors. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Freddie Freeman is at first base and saves a lot of those infielders, especially Mookie Betts, who, we know is new to the position and for the most part is really good. But occasionally will throw balls high and throw them in the dirt. And fortunately, good for the Dodgers that Freddie Freeman is over there. He's like a backstop. He's like a hockey goaltender, digging him out of the dirt and, jumping up, stretching out. He is really fantastic. And then today, the Rockies had a threat in the 5th, 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs with Tovar at the plate. It seemed like a very reminiscent feeling to yesterday's game where the Rockies had the tying run on many, many times, like 3 or 4 times, because the Dodgers were only up 3 for the majority of this, the whole game, because Rockies jumped out early, 1-0, and then the Dodgers answered to make it 4-1, and that was it. So they had the tying run on base 3 or 4 times. And the Dodgers got out of it every single time because the bullpen continues to be fantastic. We'll get into that a little bit after the break. But with Tovar at the plate, who had 3 hits yesterday, I was like, oh no, here we go. A base hit right now will tie this game, because at that point it was 3-0. And or at least make it it would have made it a 2-run game. Sorry, it would have made it 3-2, making it a 1-run game. But the Dodgers defensive research, the sabermetrics, had them lined up and positioned completely perfectly. And the line drive from Tovar to Freddie Freeman, who was well off the base at first base, almost halfway between first and second, was right at him. Didn't have to move. Third out, threat over. That was nice to see as well. So the Dodgers, really, this game never was in doubt. Never felt like the Rockies were threatening beyond that second and third in the 5th inning. The bullpen was fantastic, and we'll get to that after the break. Dodgers with a 4-0 win to take 2 of 3 from the Rockies in LA at the Ravine before day off tomorrow and then a road trip to Pittsburgh. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. And you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, where you can also find Jeff and Vince doing the Locked On Dodgers daily podcast. Actually, I think Vince is off as well. So Jeff flying solo for a portion of this week. So be sure you support him and check him out as well. All right, we'll hit the break and come back and wrap this up before day off. Dodgers with a 4-0 win against the Rockies. All right, today's show also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. As I mentioned, I got one working. I don't normally do this. I wasn't paying attention to the date of the opening game of the NBA Finals. But it's like Thursday, and I had Yamamoto to strike out 7 yesterday. That was right on the number, so that's basically a push. So I need Jason Tatum to score 1 point on Thursday, which I believe he will do, and that will be another winner. It's been good. I'm really enjoying PrizePicks a lot. I have won a tremendous amount of selections. I think I'm over $300 winning, but I've also lost like $250. So I started with $20 and I've turned it into 60. So that's pretty damn good. But it definitely makes the games more interesting, especially when you use the demons and the goblins. So that Jason Tatum to score 1 point is a extreme goblin. Very, very easy to hit that one. And, probably the payout is not very high, but it's winning. And that's all I care about. Demons, on the other hand, hard to hit. Payouts are extremely high. So make sure you check out the demons and goblins. If you have 4 demons, if you're that brave and brazen and you put 4 demons together, you can win up to 100 times your money with just 4 correct picks. Another great thing about PrizePicks, quick deposits and easy withdrawals. My initial deposit was super painless and hassle-free, and I got that 100% bonus on my initial deposit. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use that code LockedOnMLB. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy. Dodgers with a 4-0 win over the Rockies at the Ravine to wrap up this very quick homestand. Gavin Stone got the win, 6-2 going 5, no runs on 4 hits. I guess he deserves some Diamond Dogs honorable mention there. That was a fantastic outing for him, just 75 pitches. Michael Grove then came in 2 innings of scoreless baseball, striking out 2 with 1 walk through 26 pitches over 2 innings. That's very efficient. Then Vesia, who's getting a lot of love from the comment section, was good once again. What did BC say? Nobody Messia with Vesia. Yes, that's the way it's going of late. His third hold, 2 Ks, the rest zeros. That was a fantastic frame for him. Just 8 pitches, better than the immaculate inning. The immaculate inning, of course, is 9 pitches, striking out all 3 batters. But 8 pitches is fantastic. And then Daniel Hudson came in, gave up 1 hit, and then retired the side with 1K on just 9 pitches. 2.35 ERA. Vesia's ERA 1.35. Michael Grove, who had 1 bad inning or 1 bad outing rather last week, and it doubled his ERA from around 3 to a little over 6. Well, he is chipping away. Give him some credit. He's working that off. It's like, it's like pounds you put on vacation, pounds you put on vacation. You got to work them off slowly when you get home. Michael Grove is now back down to just a little bit over 5 at 5.04. Mookie Betts still struggling low key, says Los Dodgers World Series champs. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did hit the home run. It doesn't look like he's fully back. I mean, he's a guy that you expect to get 2 hits every game, but he's continuing to keep the batting average up. His on-base percentage, 412, slugging 515. So, and that's an OPS of over 900. That's a fantastic number. Ohtani's slugging down below 600 for the first time probably all season, and his on-base percentage just below 400 at 392. So I think he's struggling more than Mookie Betts is. And I don't know if there's still something going on with that hamstring, but the bottom line is he just is not looking good. His strikeouts look terrible. As we've talked about, even when his swing is on, it still looks off because he just has a different method. His procedure, his process is just different because he's different. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's all of those things. So even when he's on, it feels like he's opening up and pulling out and all of that stuff. He's probably one of very few guys that you could see flying out to right field and hit a home run to left field. But when he's off, that stuff looks even worse. It's like he's swinging at pitches above his eyeballs, flailing at those. He doesn't necessarily flail at balls on the outside half. He flails at balls that are too far inside. He's opening up and trying to pull all these balls that are well off the inside of the plate. And I think that's just selection for him, I think will help things turn around a little bit. He needs to be more selective. Maybe Dave Roberts needs to have another conversation with him. I don't know if that was directly with him or if it was with him and Will, the interpreter. But the fact is that when he was doing poorly a few weeks ago, he had a conversation with Dave Roberts, something to do with a couple of pieces of paper and being more selective. Like, this is the strike zone you should be looking for, not this. So basically tighten up your strike zone, be more selective, and that'll work out. And sure enough, it did. He came out and went on a nice little tear there for a while. So maybe they just need another conversation like that, because he's all over the place now, swinging at bad pitches all over the place, mostly inside though, and too high. He's not swinging at strikes. And that's the part that has me the most frustrated. It's like, at least if you're swinging at strikes and grounding out, like he's pulling everything weakly to the first baseman. That's the same thing that goes wrong with Gavin Lux. When Gavin Lux is off, he's pulling balls weakly to the right side, first base and second base. So they're all better. All of these left-handed, all hitters in general are better when they're trying to hit the ball right at the pitcher's head and over second base. So if you're a right-handed hitter, towards right field. If you're a left-handed hitter, towards left field. All these guys are just better when they do that. Save maybe Andy Pajes. He is probably the guy that is more capable of pulling the ball right now, because he's hot over these last 5 to 6 games, than anybody else. He could take that ball down and out and pull it. And I was critical of him not being able to do that like 2 weeks ago. So he's definitely corrected that. Still struggling with the ball up a little bit high, but he's definitely improving and is going in the right direction, as it looks like he's going to be around for the long haul with this team. But Mookie Betts, I think, on the other hand, he's doing kind of the opposite of Shohei Ohtani. He's watching too many good pitches right down the strike zone. So I don't know how you correct that. Maybe just, the day off will help. Because he needs to be just a little bit more aggressive. Hard to say be aggressive when you hit leadoff home runs, but that seemingly is the problem for Mookie Betts right now, is watching too many good pitches and offering at too many bad pitches. So I feel like, it's only a matter of time. These guys are continuing to produce as their very high averages are coming back down to a normal range. But let's not forget, both of them are still leading the league in batting average. So it can't be all that bad. Again, Ohtani 0 for today with 2 strikeouts, but Betts had the leadoff home run. Freddie Freeman had a home run. So that was good to see from those guys. Teoscar 0 for Andy Paz extended his on-base streak to 5 consecutive games. Miguel Rojas with an RBI single. Miguel Vargas had a base hit. Jason Hayward had a base hit, and 2 for Austin Barnes. So I guess let's say player of the game today, a tie between Mookie Betts, who had the game-winning RBI, and Austin Barnes, the top and the bottom of the lineup, because AB was the only guy that had 2 hits on the day. A fantastic win, a nice series all in all, a 4-0 shutout today, 4-1 yesterday to take 2 of 3 against the Rockies. Let's hope it keeps rolling. A day off tomorrow, which is always welcomed, and then on to face the Pittsburgh Pirates at PNC starting Tuesday. That game gets underway fairly early. I believe it's like 3:30 our time. So we should be done by about 3:40. We should be done by about 6 at the latest. It'll be Tyler Glasnow versus Jared Jones. I am Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel and the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for the comments. Enjoy the day off and the rest of your weekend. We will talk on Tuesday.